We're talking with Brad Burns. He's with First American Floor Company. Now, Brad, they're changing out some discs on this machine behind us. Exactly what is it that they're doing?
They're changing out the diamond tooling. What we're doing is a bonded abrasive polished concrete for the Christensen's home. And with the bonded abrasive, the diamond tooling is actually what does the cutting and refines the concrete surface.
So you're actually taking, what, an eighth of an inch off the top of the concrete?
In this situation, yes, because we're doing an exposed aggregate or a Class D finish on the floor.
So you could make it a little or make it a whole lot. In this case, they wanted a whole lot taken off of there.
Correct, yeah. Depending on which grit you start with, it's much like sanding and refinishing a wood floor. The coarser the sandpaper, the more you're going to take off. Same thing with polishing concrete.
So now you've got several different machines out here. This last one that we were watching him change the disc on seems to be putting the kind of the final polish on there. How many times do you have to go over a particular area?
That depends on the machine and the diamond tooling and how well it's mated to the concrete. For instance, what we're doing on our initial cut is a 50 grit hybrid, and we are taking probably 3 or 4 passes each pass with that 50 grit hybrid before we go to the 100 grit. And once we establish the aggregate sequence that we're looking for, and we get everything set the way we're looking at, then we'll progress through from 50s to 100s to 200s to 400s to 800s to 1500s until we get the sheen level that the customer's looking for.
Yeah, because I was noticing the sheen, and you can see it actually in the sunlight.
We're just getting started. Yeah, when we get done, this thing could literally look like a mirror.
I noticed besides the 2 machines that you have grinding over there, you also have these, looks like big vacuum cleaners.
They are. What we have are 2 propane-powered 24/17 PrepMaster diamond grinders, and they're paired up with 2 HEPA filter vacuums to try to help minimize the airborne dust.
I would assume that's because you do a lot indoors as well.
Exactly. It is concrete, it is silica we are grinding, and it is hazardous if we breathe it, so we try our best not to breathe it. The vacuums are very expensive pieces of equipment. They're not just your average vacuum that you get at Home Depot or anything.
I'll bet. Now, compared from a cost standpoint, because I know costs vary, but half again as much as staining, just coming in with regular stained concrete?
It depends on the square footage mainly, but on an average house, speaking of residential, I would say in the $6 range. It's about double what you would pay for a normal stain and seal, but the maintenance benefits far outweigh that.
Because you're doing 10, 20, 30,000 square foot areas for commercial, aren't you?
Yes, and those are usually down about $350, $325 a square foot.
Now, you predominantly do this on commercial, not so much residential. You're able to do it on this particular residential because we haven't put any walls up, correct?
Right. Polished concrete is very, very popular, and it's basically in every aspect and every market nowadays that there is. It's very difficult to do in a remodel of an existing home because of the size and the space, and it becomes very labor intensive. That's why it's predominantly done in commercial, light commercial, and or new construction residential like this.
Now, in this particular one, they're not staining this. They're just going to leave it natural, correct?
Correct.
You could add stain to it if you wanted to.
Yes, the stain's actually called a dye, but you could there's about 35, 40 different colors that you could actually dye it.
This is really an interesting process. Now, you've got a 2,800 square foot slab here. How long will it take you to polish this entire slab?
Probably about 3 days.
About 3 days. That's with all the different passes that you're going to put onto it.
Correct, yeah.
Brad, we appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.